Hey guys, Hecons here with another World of Warcraft video. Welcome back to the weekly series where we take a look at a few mailboxes, talk about WoW gold making, and answer any questions you guys had for me from the last video. We did just start a 0 to 1 million gold challenge on a brand new realm. However, we are still managing around 40 other realms and making gold on those. So here's a couple of my mailboxes and what's making me gold right now. To start, here's my tailor/engineer on my main alliance realm. I have shown this character before, and all she's doing is selling two items. The auto hammer, which is the repair item that's made with laystone ore. The recipe is from Legion. And the embroidered deep sea bags, which are the 32 slot bags. You guys can see the auto hammers are going for around like 15k for a stack of 20. Someone did dump a bunch in the auction house for around 300 gold. And you guys can see I did list a bunch at that price, but someone ended up buying out all my stock and then reset to around like between 700 to 800. You guys can see I sold a few today for 774 after the auction house cut. And then with the deep sea bags, you can see they dropped down to around 7.6k after the auction house cut. And then they were going for around 10k for a while. All those got bought out, and I decided to list mine for 15k. I think I have around 30 left, maybe 40. But I did manage to get one sale at 14.2 after the auction house cut. And the prices are still holding steady at around 15k on this realm, so really solid sales on those two items. And you guys can see I made 202k in the past, like around 19 days, so a little over 2 weeks. Almost enough to pay for 2 WoW tokens, which is awesome. And I'm really happy about that sale, so definitely going to keep making the auto hammers as well as the deep sea bags. And this is actually my main now, so I do a lot of dungeons on her and get a lot of the title core, which is one of the items that you need. Now you need to turn it into Hydra core, and I think it's a 1 Hydra core per bag, so should be able to make around 10 more. And if I can sell them for even like 10k, that's 100k gold pretty easily. But as I said, they've been going for around 15k on my realm, so could be 150k right there. I do still have like between 30 to 40 left, so it's gonna be a lot of gold once the deep sea bags sell. And hopefully they don't add any 32 slot bags or anything bigger in 8.2. On this banker, we only have 2 pages worth of auctions to get through today. I did save a few of my veiled crystal purchases to show you guys that I'm paying up to 300 gold for each of these, which is a really good price on my realm. I'm just going to be sitting on them and saving them until 8.2 when we get new enchants. And I am selling my old enchants still, trying to get as much as I can for those while I can. The ring enchants are down to around 1.4k, up to like around 2k, a little under. And then most of the weapon enchants are still holding steady at around 1k. Pretty good price. I am getting pretty nice sales on the 340 gear still. I did move most of my 340 gear to another banker, but I'm still listing some staffs and like weapons on this character. That's actually a really low sale, 1.5k for Storm Steel Destroyer. But the staffs are selling for a nice amount. Sold 2 of the 340 staffs of the Fire Flash for 18k each. Another engineering item, 3.8k. Not too bad, I guess. Satin Cloak for 4.7. Satin Bracers for 3.8. And then the rest are enchants. Pretty nice sales on this page, but only 122k. I'm gonna go ahead and loot this and we'll take a look at the second page. So here's page 2. A lot of really solid sales on this page. And we have a little under 400k to loot. Sold a bunch of 340 gear. Satin pieces going for 3.1k all the way up to 4.7. Spellblade, 6.6k. And then we did sell one of the spring shredder mounts for 11.8k after the auction house cut. If you guys remember, I ended up picking up 3 of those for 4k each. So this sale pretty much pays for all 3. And the other 2 are going to be pretty much pure profit once they sell. Sold 350 boots for 6.5k. Seems pretty low, but I've been picking up 350s to flip for like 2 to 3k. Some of them have really come down in price. Another Spellblades for 6.6k. Silurion's Tenderizer, 21.4k. I think I paid under 10k for that one, so more than doubled my gold. Antiseptic Specimen Handlers, 43.5k. I think these are gloves from the last tier. So I've had them for a while. I think these are the LFR versions, item level 340. It's a really nice sale. More enchants. Between 1.4k, 2.1k for the ring enchants. Some of the weapon enchants going for like over 2k, which is insane. And then the T-Boos, sold one for 42.8k. That seems pretty low, but there was someone on my realm with, I think 3 of them listed for around 22k, so I just bought them out and threw them up for more. And probably made a 20k for that one. Squalls. Managed to sell one for 33.2. Pretty insane. That was 8 days ago. And then 9 days ago I sold one for 12.3k, so almost a 20k difference in just a day. And I just checked and they're actually around 10k now, so glad I got rid of these when I did. And then really solid sale on the Dust Cave and Top Hat. Managed to get 142.5 after the auction house cut for that one. It is a really popular transmog, but I think I picked mine up for like 20 or 30k. So over 100k profit on that. And I do own a couple on other realms that I picked up for really cheap. I think the lowest I paid was like 5k or something ridiculous. I just saw that there was like 2 realms that were showing up in the Undermine Journal as having really low priced top hats. And I think I had gold on one of those, so ended up buying out the top hat. And I'm pretty sure I still have it on that realm, so hopefully I can get 150k for that one as well. And the rest are just, looks like enchants. Pretty happy with these sales. A little under 400k on this page. So that'll put us back over 5.1 million on this tune. Pretty happy with those sales. Anyways, we're going to get to your questions, but before we do that, I wanted to go over the PTR notes for profession changes coming in 8.2 and talk about those a little bit. So here are the profession changes coming in 8.2. You can see this post on Wowhead was made over 3 weeks ago, and it is off of PTR, so this information could change. So you guys should keep that in mind before you start your prep. First profession we're going to take a look at is Alchemy. You can see we're getting brand new healing potion, as well as a new cauldron, new flasks, and new pre-pots as well. So it's going to make all the older stuff pretty much obsolete. People on a budget may opt for these older options, but the differences are pretty substantial. You can see the older healing potion heals for 33,251, And then the new one heals for 133k, pretty much so. Almost 100k difference in the healing potions. And then for the flask, the older stuff gives 238 in main stat. And the new one's going to be 360 in main stat, so it's like 50% better, it looks like. We will also be getting a new herb, so all of the 8.2 stuff will require the new herb, as well as, I think, like one type of the older herbs, but you guys can click on each of the recipes for specifics on what you need. And then alchemists will also get an alchemy stone, item level 410, 425, and 440. I'm assuming the upgrade system is the same as it is now. 410 is going to require some dungeon grading, and then 425 and 440 is probably like with raid consumables, or raid reagents. Blacksmithing is getting brand new 370 gear. Pretty much the same as the 340 gear now. You're going to be able to craft plate armor as well as some weapons. And then gear for personal use. Item level 410, 425, 440. Pretty much the same as the alchemist stone. And then you'll also be able to craft one of the new mount items. Looks like blacksmithing gets the water walking one. And then cooking, we are getting new individual food as well as feasts. Feast going to give 131 in a main stat, over 100 in a main stat, so it's like 31% better. And then the individual use food, 93 in a secondary instead of 70, so what is that? Like 30% better? Something like that. Pretty significant. Especially if you're in the big rating realm, then you may consider crafting a bunch of these feasts and throwing them up on the auction house. A lot of like the curve and cutting edge guilds are going to want these feasts, since they do give 31% more in a stat. So definitely something to look at as a gold maker. Enchanting, which is one of my favorite professions. Brand new ring enchants. 60 in a secondary instead of 37, which is really big. New 370 scepter, as well as new weapon enchants. Not sure how much better these weapon enchants are going to be, but you're definitely going to want to stockpile your mats and have them ready for 8.2. Oh, and with the professions, you want to level them up to 150. A lot of the new recipes do require 150 or higher, and they are raising the skill cap for BFA professions, so something to keep in mind. And then enchanting gets the increased speed by 20% mount item, which is pretty nice. I think that's the one I'm going to use on most of my tunes. And then engineering, new goggles, 415, 430, 445. New notorious combatant ranged weapons, which is the item 370. I think you get like a bow. Wait, no, the bow is leatherworking, so I'm assuming it's the gun and like the one-handed agility weapons that engineers get now. As well as a couple of new toys, Wormhole Generator Coltiris and Sandalar, as well as brand new Blingtron. Will be pretty interesting to see what the new Blingtron drops. It does require engineering 175, so make sure to get your engineering to cap as soon as possible. And then new Uber Spanner items. Haven't really used my Uber Spanner, so I'm not sure how good it is, but There are 3 new additions: Scrap Cannon, Uber Coil, and Pogo coming in 8.2. Fishing, brand new achievements as well as rewards. I think we are getting a couple of new fish that you need for crafting, maybe for cooking. I haven't taken a look at the feast recipe, but I guess we can do that now. So it looks like some older stringy loins, meaty haunch, which is the old meat, fresh potato, which is a vendor item, spare crate, which comes from Mechagon, and then 2 of the new fish, viper fish and ionized minnow. So you're definitely going to get rank 3 of this before you start crafting, as you're going to need only 1 of the spare crates at rank 3, whereas at rank 1 you're going to need 3. You do need cooking 175, it looks like, to get rank 3, so definitely want to get that ASAP. Could be a really good gold maker. And then inscription, another one of my favorite professions. Getting a new offhand, item level 370. New contracts for the 8.2 factions. New mass mill spell for the new herb. Xenanthid, as well as brand new ink. And then we are also going to get new, similar to Dark Moon decks, BOE trinkets that you can craft, which are now item level 400. All of them look pretty interesting. Should be a pretty good gold maker, especially pretty early in 8.2 when there aren't very many herbs. So if you're a scribe or even like a herbalist, definitely going to want to pick these herbs and get on these trinkets. Not sure how they compare to current heroic level trinkets, but seems pretty good. Jewel crafting, brand new staff, which is one of my favorite 370 or 340 items to sell. New mass prospect for the new ore, osmonite, and then new item level 410, 425, and 440 rings for personal use. New gems, it looks like. That's pretty big. New Leviathan's Eye, 120 intellect instead of 80 intellect, so 50% better. And then new epic gems, 16 a secondary over 40 in a secondary, so also 50% better. And then not as important, but movement speed. It looks like a 5% movement speed gem. And the current highest, it looks like, is 3%. Leatherworking and tailoring are pretty similar as they are now. 370 crafted gear, cloth and cloaks for tailoring, mail and leather for leatherworking. And then, of course, they get their own crafted gear, 410, 425, 440. And then 2 of the mount items. Leatherworking gets the protection from gaze, and tailoring gets slow fall. Pretty excited about these changes coming, especially the new inscription trinkets. Should be a pretty good gold maker with those, as well as the new enchants, and probably the new feast, depending on how costly it is to make. and how easy it is to get those crates. I think that's going to be it for this review of the 8.2 profession changes. If there's anything major that's announced in the next couple of weeks, I'll probably make another video, but let's go ahead and take a look at your questions from the last video. The first question this week comes from Matthias Paulson, who asked, isn't the current enchanting mats going to be the ones needed for the new 8.2 enchants? So guess it would be worth to stock up on enchanting mats, and maybe also stock up on ultramarine ink to craft the new inscription trinkets, or feedback would be greatly appreciated. Love your vids. So I did check on Wowhead, and it does look like the new 8.2 enchants will use the current enchanting materials. The rank 3 of the new ring enchants will take 3 Velvet Crystal, 2 of the Ember Shards, and 10 Gloom Dust. I think on paper that works out to be a little bit cheaper than crafting the current ring enchants, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. I would definitely start stocking up on at least the Veiled Crystals, and if you're doing a bunch of Bracer Shuffling and want to stock up on Ember Shards and Gloom Dust, that's definitely recommended as well. As far as the inscription, on Wowhead, it looks like you only need 45 of the Marine ink and 25 of the Ultramarine ink. It's not like the current Darkmoon decks where you need to craft cards, and there's a lot of RNG involved with that. That's what makes the Darkmoon decks quite profitable, and I'm not sure how much that's going to affect the prices of the new inscription trinkets. As far as saving up or stockpiling Ultramarine ink, I'm not too sure if you need to do that, especially if milling the new herbs gives Ultramarine ink as well as the Crimson ink. Of course, it'll give the new Maroon ink, but I'm not sure what the ratio is going to look like for milling those herbs, so definitely stock up on enchanting mats, and I'm kind of split on... I mean, I do already have a bunch of Ultramarine ink, so I'm not too worried about that. I guess if you can get the Ultramarine ink for super cheap, then definitely pick some up. The next question comes from Mr. Nate E34, who asked, with the current state of the economy and the deflation that is occurring, would you advise selling TCG mounts and pets that were bought during the end of WOD, or are they worth holding on to? Personally, I would hold on to most of the TCG mounts and pets. However, if they're ones I bought towards the end of WOD, then they should still be pretty profitable today in BFA gold values. I'd say if you need the gold now, try and sell them. However, if you don't need the gold, I would probably list them for like super high values. Try and sell them for a decent amount. If you're happy with the prices now, I would say go ahead and sell them, but personally I would probably sit on most of the TCG mounts and pets. The next question comes from Gustav Anderson, who asked, thanks Econs. I have a ton of dust shard crystals. Should I be looking to unload them pre 8.2, or just keep selling them at the normal rate? From what I have seen, there are no new enchanting mats in 8.2, so I do not see them tanking in value. I don't see them tanking in value either. I did mention earlier that we will need the same mats to make the enchants in 8.2. However, it looks like the mats are going to be a lot less compared to what they are now, so that might decrease the prices of the mats a little bit. I would say just continue selling them and maybe set some aside for the new 8.2 stuff. And then if you're shuffling your own enchanting materials, I don't think they're going to kill any of the existing shuffles, so even if you sell most of your stock, you should still be able to shuffle and make more. The last question this week comes from Noobsponu, who asked, do you have any tips for making gold without BFA? I want to try and get it with tokens. So one of the things that's quite lucrative and something you don't need BFA for is to flip items. However, you do need some starting capital with that, and if you're just starting to get into gold making, I'd probably just recommend picking up one of the gathering professions. If you go mining, I would be taking a look at rare ores like titanium and corium. Ghost iron ore can be pretty good as well, as it's used in a lot of recipes that people still craft, like the panther mounts with jewel crafting, as well as sky golems for engineering. If you go herbalism, I'd probably try and pair it with something like alchemy that has some synergy. You can farm kata herbs. If you can do the Wild Sands grind, then you'll be able to craft those mounts with alchemy, and that can be quite lucrative on most realms. You can also go herbalism and inscription, maybe farm some legion herbs and just sell glyphs. That can be quite profitable on some realms. Really depends on your realm and what type of stuff that you want to do with gold making, but I'd recommend those to start. And then I would definitely check out some of the other WoW gold making YouTubers, like Student Albatross, Wanna Buy Gold, Bregvids, and then there are quite a few gold making streamers. Gumdrops does a lot with transmog and restock relisting with TSM, so if you can catch one of his streams, I would definitely check that out, and he's pretty receptive to answering questions that you guys post in chat, so those are pretty good resources, so I would start there. And then if you have any questions, you can always come back to my channel and leave them in the comments, and I'll try and answer them in one of these Q&A videos. Those were all the questions that were posted on the last video. Remember that if you guys want to ask me anything, you can leave me a question in the comments of this video, and your question may be featured and answered in the next video that I make. That's going to be it for this week's video. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and a huge shout out to my supporters on Patreon. Hope you guys are all having a great week, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Late.